is the most uncontroversial monster take. Who is stronger, Energized or Nuke amps? And I'm gonna be talking about it today. Alright everyone, this is my first time doing an analysis slash scaling video, and I have a good friend of mine with me. His name is Oso or Leviathan, the guy who made G19 versus G21. That's a trap take, but by the way, but let's get into it. Alright, Nuke Amp is consistently considered a supercharged or overcharged by many statements which are on screen, and it stated that his radiation levels are through the roof, meaning his radiation is higher than they ever seen at the time, meaning he's above Aftershock and Legacy of Monsters. They're irrelevant to this video. I might make a video on them in the next week or later. But back on to track. Nuke is stated to that his power grows stronger over time, every second, meaning he gets stronger or over time. But the catch is he has like 20 minutes because he takes time getting to San Francisco. And it's up to interpretation. I say it's 20 minutes. Someone else might say it's 4 hours, which I have nothing against. And New Camp is above a base Ghidorah, who's at least relative to Shimo to a low extent. And yeah, that's pretty much it about New Camp. But he does have statements to be like, a supercharged, overcharged, and like, even though they change it every 5 seconds, literally. I mean, the novel says it's supercharged, then the movie says it's overcharged, and the novel says it's overcharged, and the movie says it's supercharged. So, I don't know what to take to face value. Alright. Levy will talk about Energized, because I don't know any scans for Energized. But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Basically, all of Energized's inverse comes from upscaling off others, so let's just go over that. G21, while just being present, is stated to have energy readings off the charts, considering beforehand that only Nuke had this level of statements. This gets G21 not only just above of G19, but also above Nuke, because with the context that MonsterVerse's technology is always increasing, and the fact that his mere presence distorted the radar on top of that, and the sonar, or this would actually get this much above the Nuke off the chart statement, because Nuke never did anything similar or to that extent. That's all he has really going for him. I mean, he just has the off the chart statement, while G21 has a faster, more focused, more refined atomic breath. While this is supported in the movie, as it's visually shown. And this is not just a dismissible statement, considering this was Adam's intention, and plus with the fact that he just evolved after the events of KOTM, considering that it's also on top of that stated that his atomic breath is more intense. It's also stated that Godzilla just casually evolves over time. He adapts, evolves, changes. He's visually faster and more agile during the events of GBK, and has a layer that's deeper into the hollow earth. And we know that the deeper you are, or the more radiation you get, so he would be getting more radiation than the likes of G19 and Nuke. The reason all this is relevant is because GXK upscales off of this via being at peak health and power, and Energized just gets stacked on top of that. So yeah, Energized is just madly above.
Alright, Levy, why do you say Energized is above? I heard what you said, that G21 just upscales off Nuke Amp, right? Yes. No bullshit, he does. He does. How should I believe that?
Say that again.
How should I believe that? You said G21 just upscales off Nuke Amp. How should I believe that if you say it's radiation different?
Because Is the statement saying that it's different, and the statement saying that his energy he is off the charge are two different statements, and different radiation doesn't tend to correlate into stronger all the time, but with the added context, it does correlate into stronger.
I mean, true, but they both have off the chart statements, but energized. G21 just has like more concrete and more stronger off the chart statements. That what you're just trying to say?
Considering he's disrupting and overloading in superior technology.
Superior. It's been like okay. To be fair, it's been like 4 years for them since G 2019 or five.
Five.
But like, do you think they really know the full like power of Nuke when they were like when they left? Even though he was scarred, he stayed there. His energy level was still the same amount.
They know enough considering that the difference is between New Camp when they left versus is the quote unquote finale of New Camp. And it's just such a little degree that it wouldn't matter whatsoever.
A little or a lot?
Considering that his power growth is entirely unquantifiable. So it's a little.
Isn't but like again about GVK? Doesn't he? Isn't he stated to be injured to a degree?
GBK's injured statement is normally they refer to the flashbacks regarding in Dominion. But other than that, we do see him have scars in the movie. So yes, he is weakened, but it's not to a massive extent. It's just a slight blunter. No, it's a slight piercing durability decrease.
Are you sure? I'm just checking, man.
Positive.
Alright. But the thing is, if you get rid of G21 upscaling, how you gonna get energized above new camps?
Simple. Well, considering the fact that even without G21, an Energize just has a lot more of intense effects on the environment around him. We can safely conclude that this amp is superior. Here, considering that it's energized just by being present, and Jets couldn't get near him because of how much radiation he had, while Jets could perfectly get near Nuke Amp and even be directly right next to him, and with no problem whatsoever. And that energized boils the water around him to a massive AoE. While Nuke Amp only boils the water specifically around his dorsals, aka where 90% of his energy is cramped up. Yeah, we could safely conclude that Energized is just stronger.
So a supercharge is over an overcharge. That what you just trying to say?
An overcharge stacked on top of a crippled form of Godzilla. Can't fucking move Godzilla.
True, true. So you saying if Godzilla was 100%, he got nuked, he would be above energized.
I never said that, but what I will say is that if it was a peak condition Godzilla that was given the nuke, it would be vastly above that crippled Godzilla.
Dang, triple
Considering
job.
that his dorsals are responsible for where 90% of his energy is contained, we can also conclude that maybe this is more of a headcanon, but maybe he wouldn't have been overcharged, but had just given a huge boost in power, and he could have safely contained that energy. This is more in headcanon ranges, but I think it's kind of a logical deduction based on the fact that yo can't fucking move Godzilla. Would have taken him so long to recover that Ghidorah would have destroyed the planet by then.
True, but like you said that his energy is stored in his dorsal plates, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't the radiation just go off his dorsal plates? It wouldn't go off his whole body.
That just upscales Energized because he contains so much that it had to be spread out his body.
To be fair, Godzilla evolved for that.
Fair enough, but that still just proves my point more.
Not gonna lie. With this, you making me actually believe Aaron Judge is above Duke Kent. No, I ain't gonna lie. No, no bullshit. You actually making me believe that he actually is above him.
New Camp, New Camp is just not that guy. I don't know if to
Is it, bro?
He
Like a
didn't even look as cool as the rest of them, bro.
probably because they didn't think of the ideas like freaking G21 or D or Energized, bro. You think they thought of that in
Yeah, they
2019?
did. They did, considering Burning's design is literally just energized but orange. But,
Are you, or so they did that for no reason.
I mean, in how they normally convey Godzilla's power level, well, it is not via glow. Glow is retarded. It is via uh, statements such as saying how strong this Godzilla is compared to his previous forms or his base, his or yada yada yada, and what it does, what its effects are, or what its presence is doing. Meanwhile, New Camp just doesn't have those type of statements. The only statement is that he really has going for him is that energy off the charts. He's gonna explode. That's it.
But I got a question. Based off radiation,
Like
does
you
a
only got
power
like
plant have more radiation than nuke amps? A nuke, a nuke that serves all like self made.
in monsterverse terms, yes.
But then what? That was literally a
There is
straight up
no there
artificial
is
like nuke.
there is no direct statement that says the power plant has more radiation, but considering that power plants hold vast more radiation than nukes do, plus the fact that the difference in time between KOTM and VXK is let's do the math here, 7 year difference.
True,
And then in the span of 5 years, because they developed technology enough to combat other titans with a Titan Hunter, their Mecha Godzilla, and made ships that are strong enough to to withstand the entire Earth's gravity being forced upon you.
true.
So, with all that in mind, and this would have logically mean that they need to produce more energy, so more radiation, more power plants, more factories, more yada yada yada. So, so this type, so this power plant, even if it's just a quote unquote normal power plant, would just be vastly above. Also, considering if we just compare the effects and the context of both power plant and the nuke was stacked on top of a crippled Godzilla, uh, while the power plant was stacked on top of a conditioned Godzilla, which still he couldn't fully contain it, considering that his radiation is leaking out of him.
That's why I said that nuke. If nuke was nuke on, if a peak Godzilla, a peak condition Godzilla got nuked, he would have been way stronger. That's why I said he would have probably been above energized, arguably above energized, arguably because Godzilla
What
was
is for sure, if it was stacked on top of a peak conditioned Godzilla, there's a good chance that it would have gotten metabolized instead of causing him to explode.
I'm saying that what I mean. He got like I'm saying that if he was peak condition, he would be like energized. He would look like energized, like literally, straight up like energized. Probably glow more. But the crazy part is, he was a crippled Godzilla. That nuke made him so powerful that he was gonna explode. Think about that. He was crippled. He was gonna explode after, right? From being crippled. How much radiation do you think
Consider
you need to have a freaking a crippled Godzilla going up and running like that?
considering that uh, this Godzilla was so weak that they originally thought he was dead, and when and they got confirmation he was alive, his signature was so low, so that he didn't have a glow, he didn't have this, he didn't have that, yada yada yada, and he couldn't move. And since we know that his energy correlates to his physicals, so this guy, I he was just he might as well have been dead, bro. So what I'm trying to say here is a nuke being stacked on top of a dead Godzilla isn't impressive, considering that his dorsals would have been so weak that they couldn't contain as much energy as they normally would have.
True. I think I got my answer. You convinced me. You convinced me. Energized is stronger. But hold
Yeah,
up.
have you seen those peak arguments getting energized above base evolved that 100% aren't centered around headcanon?
Don't you dare. We on a live. I'm freaking recording this, bro. Chill out, relax. But to be fair, if they was both in the same like base power, Nuke Amp is a stronger amp because he it made a freaking weakened Godzilla comparable to like G21. Not comparable, but you know what I mean. You could consider him G21 tier. Like we have a crippled Godzilla getting juiced up to a G21 tier in like
On
thoughts.
call fight G21 has the best design in the monsterverse. That
They're
glow,
literally the
bro.
same design. Same.
Because it's the glow, bro. So that shade.
That's literally the point of the movie. He said he wanted it more brighter. What?
Even
Come
though
on.
him,
Holy yap session. 12-minute yap session. Now that's a long video. Alright guys, subscribe. That was the end of the video and I just didn't want to make an outro, so just subscribe, like, have a wonderful day, have a wonderful Christmas. And before I leave, I might have a microphone in like a couple weeks, so you don't expect more quality voice content besides being on my phone. And that's pretty much it all I wanted to say. Plus, subscribe to Levy. He helped me out a lot with this video. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great Christmas. I'll probably upload in like a week or two because this is my first time doing this, so I'm probably very trash and it's on the phone. So yeah, bye. See y'all.